Hello everyone, I'm Jenny and today we're having a look at the different options why the scissors on your AK1 cut pad tufting machine might not cut your yarn. This is an extended video where we cover all the problems that might cause this. If you're looking for a specific tutorial for the problem that you already know, I've put the short videos in the description box below. So before we start, let's have a quick overview on what we're going to cover in this tutorial. We're going to first have a look at the mechanism of the scissors opening and closing in the tufting machine. We are then going to have a look at the scissors closing mechanism and how to adjust it, as well as the scissors opening mechanism and how to adjust it. In the end, I'm going to show you how you can exchange the scissors if they get dull over time and they're not cutting your yarn anymore. So before we start adjusting things, let's have a look at how the mechanism actually works so you can understand how the parts get into each other and how it's actually doing things. That will help you a lot with understanding how to adjust things if you have a problem with the scissors. So as you can see, I removed this top part of the tufting machine. It's the sliding block of the top two rails with the needle on it. And I did so we can have a better look at the inside of the tufting machine and actually see what the scissors are doing. We have the scissors here. We have the scissors closing block here. That's adjusted on this side here, and it's that black block within here. And we have the scissor opener here. That's this bent metal part on top of the scissor. When we are tufting, you can see the scissors are now open. And when we are tufting, this part of the scissor is moving into the scissors closing block and getting closed by it. Yes, like that. And then the machine keeps on running and is moving back. And the scissor opener here, the bent metal part, is pushing that part open again. And the scissors are opening up now. So we're open again, we go to the front. I slightly twist the machine so you can see it from a different angle. And it's getting closed and opened. So this is how this actually works within the machine, and I guess this is going to help you understand or fix a problem quicker if a problem occurs. So let's have a look at the mechanisms. The scissors closing block is that black block that is sitting in here and is actually pushing in that part of the scissors when they move forward. I do that. As you can see, the scissors now closed, they're moving forward, and the block is basically pushing the scissors together. Let's have a look at it again, maybe like this. You can see the block here, and there is a slight angle to it on this end of the block. And when the scissors are moving into it, they're closing. The opposite of that is happening here in the back with the scissors opener. That part of the scissors is moving into that bent metal part, and this is pushing the scissors open. So the scissors are moving back, touching the metal part, the scissors opener now, and getting pushed open by it. I show you this again in a different angle. So the scissors are moving back, running into the scissors opener and getting opened by the bent part of it. Coming back and getting pushed open here, and you can see the scissors are opening here. So I hope this helped you understand how the scissors mechanism as a full thing actually works. And now let's move on to the scissors closing block specifically. Okay, so let's have a look at the scissors closing block. This is the part which closes the scissors. That's simply that part here that sits here on the machine. And because the most interesting part is actually covered here by the handle, I took apart this and this so I can show it properly. So basically the scissors are moving into this angled part and getting pushed together by it. The scissors are moving forward and getting pushed together by the angled block. The most problematic part with the scissors closer is actually not when the scissors are not closing, but when they're closing too early. This would happen if the scissors closer is too far back, and then your gear would not be able to rotate freely anymore. So I prepared this machine with the scissors closer fully to the back, but the pile height actually not on the smallest setting. The scissors are now actually closed, but the scissors are not at the front yet. And you can see that there is a bump in this. So the gear is not, here it's rotating freely, and here I really have to push it, and it's like crossing a border. We never want that to happen. You can even misadjust it that far that you're not able to rotate the gear anymore, and this is really not good for the parts of the tufting machine. We always want the gear to move freely without any hiccups. So we always want the scissors to close when they're at their outmost point. This is the case when the bearing down here is parallel to the rails of the sliding blocks. So we're gonna have it not like that and the scissors are closing, or like that, but really just nicely aligned with the whole machine. If your scissors closer is placed at the outmost point where it can go, and your gear is still not rotating smoothly, you overstepped some measurements while adjusting the pile height. Either you made the bearing down here too low, or you adjusted it to a pile height which it can actually not tuft. If you have this problem, please refer to our pile height adjusting tutorial. So let me show you an easy way to adjust the scissors closing block nicely and easily. You're gonna need your middle Allen key from the set that comes with the machine for this. So I now bring the scissors to their outmost point. I press the machine against my body and hold it with my left hand on the white gear and make sure the scissors stay where they are at the outmost point. I hold it tight here. I have my middle-sized Allen key in my right hand, and now I want to push back the scissors closing block so the scissors are closing. Don't forget to hold tight on the white gear when you do that. And once you reach that position where it closes nicely, you can tighten it with the Allen key. Let us check. So we rotate the gear, and it's rotating freely without any bumps where the scissors are closing and the scissors are closing. So let's repeat this once. I open the scissors again, bring the scissors to their outmost point, hold the machine with my left hand on the white gear so it's not moving anymore, so the scissors stay at their outmost point. I loosen the scissors closer. I'm now pushing the scissors closer slowly back with my right hand and tighten it in place when the scissors just closed. Let's have a look at it. So that's exactly what we want. It just moves freely now. So like this, you can easily adjust your scissors closing block. If you didn't push quite enough, just a tiny bit too less, you can of course make a little tiny adjustment. The same if you pushed too much to the back and it gets a little tacky. But this is a very nice way to get to the point where things should be happening. And of course, it can swift like a 0.5 millimeter there or so. So you get a feeling for it, and I think that's the most important part, that we are not going on measurements, because measurements can vary all over the machine, and we should really get a feeling of the machine and how it works and understand how it works, and therefore be able to adjust it properly. So now let's move on to the scissors opener. So let's have a look at the scissors opener. It's this metal part here that is fixed to the tufting machine on this metal block sitting on the top left rail. If we have a look into the machine, you can see the bent metal part here is the scissors opener. The scissors are now closed, and when they're coming back, the bent part will push open that part of the scissors. I have also both of the parts here. So what basically is happening, the scissors opener, this part is sitting in the rails, the scissors getting pushed back and pushed open by the little dent here that is in the scissors opener. Let me show you this again on the tufting machine. We have the scissors opener here and the part of the scissors that will get pushed open here. And if we move back, you can have a look at the scissors in the front here. They're getting pushed open by this. So if the scissors opener is too much in the back, obviously the scissors will not reach the bent part and therefore not getting pushed open. Or if the scissors opener is too much in the front, the gear will again not rotate smoothly, and therefore it's getting like little hits to the motor, and we don't want this to happen. We want to find the exact sweet spot of where this is happening. And I show you now how I do this. So let me show you how to do this with the machine, where I took off the top part so you can see what's happening inside. So before we start adjusting it, we want to loosen the metal part where the scissors opener is attached to. You're going to need your smallest Allen key that comes with your tufting machine for this. And we're simply going to loosen that top screw here. And you're now going to be able to move this whole part where the scissors closer is attached to. So we bring it back all the way, so it's not in the way. And we're also going to bring the scissors back to the point where they're the most back. So this is the case when the gear is on the opposite position from where we want to adjust the scissors closer. So when the lower bearing again is in a straight line with the rest of the machine in the middle of the gear. So we bring the scissors to their innermost point, hold the gear in place with our right hand, and push the scissors opener forward with our left hand, so the scissors are just opened. And you can now see the scissors are getting pushed open here and are actually open here. So on this position, we simply tighten the screw back in place and give it a turn to see if everything runs nice and smooth, and that's the case. I loosen this part again and we do it one more time. With our right hand, we grab the gear and bring it to the position where the scissors are at their innermost point of the tufting machine. with our left hand, we push the scissors opener to the front, so the scissors just opened. We tighten the screw with the smallest Allen key and give it a run to make sure it's running smooth and freely and there are no hiccups in the gear rotation. So that's how easy you can adjust your scissors opener and your scissors closer. And now let's head on to the part where we take apart basically the whole machine and exchange the scissors. To be able to exchange the scissors, we're going to take off the whole front block of the machine, as well as sliding off the lower sliding block where the scissor sits inside. To exchange the scissors, you're going to need your Allen key set, as well as an 8mm open wrench or an adjustable open wrench, as well as a Phillips screwdriver. As I mentioned before, first we're going to take off this whole part, this whole front part of the machine. To do that, we're going to take out these 4 black screws in the front of the tufting machine to be able to take it off. We do that with the middle-sized Allen key that comes with the machine. These screws might be super crazy tight when you have to loosen them for the first time. The manufacturer just tightens them super, super tight. And believe me, every time I have to do this for the first time on a tufting machine, I always believe I'm gonna break something because I have to put so much pressure and force into it, but nothing ever broke. So just go with your guts and get these things loose. Even though it feels like it's too much and something is stuck, it's really just super tight when you do it for the first time. So you take off the whole scissors closing block with the 2 long screws and the 2 small screws from the other side, put it aside so nothing gets lost. So now you can simply slip off the whole front part. You might want to give it a little wiggle because the 4 rails where the slides are moving on are actually inside of this part. So it's not only attached, it slips into 4 holes. So you might want to give it a little wiggle to get it out. So now the machine looks pretty crazy. And all that is left is we need to take off the lower sliding block. To be able to do that, we take off this nut with our 8mm open-ended wrench. And we can slip off this part. And now slide the whole thing off the machine. Now we have reached the point where the scissor is actually getting exchanged. So you see this small screw here, and that's what we want to loosen. To change the scissors, that's where it's fixed to this U-shaped profile. And also this screw might be crazy tight if you do it for the first time. So you can now switch the scissors and put them back in. Since my scissors are still fine, I'm gonna put the same scissors back in that I just took out, because I'm doing this to show you the process. So we're placing the scissors in the U-shaped profile again and putting back in the tiny screw, if you can. So, and tighten back the screw. And you really want to tighten that screw like super crazy tight again, because that's basically the only part where your scissors are fixed. So we fixed it, and now we're just gonna bring back together the whole machine. So the two rails go in these two holes of the sliding block. And we slip it on again. And then tighten back that part. Make sure you have these two distancing parts on the screw first. Slip on that part and then tighten the nut. You really want to fix this properly as well. And now we're going to slip on that part back on. We're going to put the 4 rail ends into the 4 holes on the handle part here. And you might want to push them a bit into the direction so they're slipping on nicely. You really want to make sure that they're inside and that this part is in a 90 degrees angle to the rest of the machine, and not just like having an angle somewhere or not being put on properly at one point. Now I'm going to bring back the scissors closing block. And tighten it with the middle-sized Allen key. And you want to make sure you have your pointy tip here as well to hang your tufting machine onto the Tuftinglove when you tuft. Tighten back all the screws. And the 2 small screws on the other side. Really make sure you always fix everything super tight and never, really never build together your tufting machine just by hand without any tools. It will simply come apart super fast because of all the movement the machine is going through, and it will just unscrew things. So really, when you bring everything back together, really tighten everything nice and properly with your tools, and don't just screw in your screws by hand and think, yeah, it's going to be enough. Through the moving of the machine and the whole vibration, the screws are just going to unscrew themselves. So really always tighten everything properly with your tools. And when you tightened all the screws back in place properly with your tools, you're ready to tuft again. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to leave us a comment below. If you like the video, you maybe want to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe our channel to stay up to date on everything tufting related. Bye!